me immense pleasure to introduce the great eminent speaker, Shri Jebasingh IAS. Jebasingh is an Indian educator and a former Indian Administrative Service Officer who served in West Bengal. He is currently the Director of Officers IAS Academy, Chennai. In 2007, he was nominated as an effective Sub-Collector of India by Lal Bahadur Shastri, National Academy of Administration. During the Naxal crisis in Lalgarh, he was appointed by the Bengal government to resolve the crisis. In 2010, he resigned from the IAS and worked as a part of providing urban amenities to rural areas project of Dr. Abdul Kalam. In 2013, he started Officers IAS Academy, a civil service coaching institute to train aspirants. He has also authored a book, The Secret Ingredients to Crack the UPSC Civil Examination. With this small introduction, I'd like to invite Shri Jebasingh sir.
Distinguished panelists and a learned audience. So it's a pleasure to be here on a very, very important topic, the draft new education policy. So first of all, I would like to thank the Tamilagam Foundation and also the Chennai Citizen Forum for inviting me, because after all, I am also a parent and also one of the citizens of this country. I want to take you about when I was going through this draft education or new education policy. I wanted to highlight certain things which made me happy and also certain things which worried me. First of all, the midday meal expansion, something which we have to give credit to the panel which has prepared this new draft education policy, because they want to extend the midday meal even to the breakfast part. So already we know that this, when it was introduced, this midday meal, many children started attending school at least for the sake of midday meal. So now with a given idea that they are also going to introduce breakfast, parents will be very happy, especially who cannot afford, who are below poverty line. Definitely they will be very happy, because the children at least will have a comfortable breakfast as well as lunch. And definitely the children with full stomach, if they read, their absorption of the studies will be much, much better. So I want to place it on record, because of this midday meal expansion in the new draft policy, something a welcome thing. Now comes my issues which worried me. The first, I want to highlight just 4 issues which worried me as a parent and also as a citizen of this country. First issue is the 3 languages. The 3 languages, if you go through that thing, exposure to 3 or more languages in schools, and the draft says to leverage the enhanced learning abilities of young children, all students, preschool and grade 1 onwards will be exposed to 3 or more languages. And finally, if you read the bolded one, ability to recognize scripts, read basic text in all 3 languages by 3rd standard or grade 3. It has also, if you read the document, it also, the panel which has prepared, the committee which has prepared, headed by Dr. Kasturi Rangan, they also given us some anti-English stand. If you read, they'll be saying that, yes, we can see that English has no advantage over other languages in expressing thoughts, which was given in that document. we further observe that English has not become the international language that it was expected to become back in 1960s. Now, first is whether the three languages are required. Now, if you start the document, the preamble of this new education policy, it talks about India will become in 2032 a $10 trillion economy. Now, if you want to, you see, India aspires to take its place besides the United States and China as the third largest economy, which is going to be around our $10 trillion economy will not be driven by natural resources, but by knowledge resources, which they are going to do it because of this new education policy. Now, let us first think who are there in the three so-called $10 trillion club. Already US is there, China is there. Whether they have three language formula. Next you come others who are ahead of us. We are today 6th position. The document aspires that we become a 3rd position. For that we are preparing the knowledge resources. Who are the others? Germany, France, Japan is there. Now, three languages, whether it is required at that too at the age of 3rd standard. Now, not 3rd standard, in fact before they start the preschool itself, we are going to start, and at the 3rd standard level, they are going to conduct an exam conducted by the board. Now, if US, which is now almost $20 trillion economy, now 2019. Now we are aspiring to be a 10, which is half of US now. We want to be a $10 trillion economy in 2032. But whether they are having that, whether they are only reading English and one foreign language of their choice, which can be Tamil or Hindi or Bengali or Spanish. How about Japan? Great, who are already producing more goods and services than us, who are having more $1 trillion than us, big economy. They are learning Japanese and English. How about China? Chinese, that is Mandarin language, English. Now, if you want to create an economy, why to stress the children? And that too, where there is no correlation between the $1 trillion economy and three languages. Say, let us think, okay, knowledge will grow. Now, which country is known for its knowledge across the globe? It is Israel. Now, Israel, if you see, the Nobel Prizes, because the knowledge is mainly recognized by the Nobel Prize. The population of the Israel Jews is 0.2% in the world, whereas they have got 20% of the Nobel Prizes. Till now, approximately 900 Nobel Prizes. In the 20%, the Jews, which is just 0.2% of the population. What are the languages? How many languages they do? Just 2 languages, Hebrew and English. So if you see all these economies which are already ahead of us are having only 2 languages. One is their mother tongue, another is English. Then why this anti-English stand? And why there is a requirement for a 3rd language? See, I know the truth. After once I became an IAS officer, I was posted in West Bengal. So I know 3 languages. I can now speak Tamil, English, read, write, speak Tamil, English, also Bengali. But when requirement came, I was posted when I learned it. I learned, not only me, my wife also learned. When there is a requirement, we can definitely learn. But why to stress our children with 3 languages? Why not 2 languages? If at all, already the so-called great economies are having only 2 language formula. Next. Now, let me come. The missile man. Who's the missile man? Dr. Abdul Kalam. Where did he study? In one panchayat school in Mandapam in Tamil Nadu. Now recently, last 10 days, one man is great news, one rocket man, who is Mr. Sivan, who is already sent to the Chandrayaan. Now whether he undertook 3 languages, he studied in Kanyakumari Government School. And missile man studied in Mandapam Government School. If they can, and when it comes to space, forget about economy. When it comes to space program, India is on par with US. Definitely they all acknowledge, because economic, when compared to their economics, we are able to send at a much lower cost. So, those great brains have come up with just 2 languages, a missile man, a rocket man, and say the chairman of this entire new education policy draft, Dr. Kasturi Rangan. He was also from a government school in Kottayam. And the school was where he studied, he was not just an exception. They produced, that school, government school in Kottayam, has produced parliamentarians, judges, say Judge Krishna here, he was from there. So, why this unnecessary stress on 3 language formula is my view, just because of selfish reason. I also have 2 children. Next. Now, another one important thing, 3 language formula, what it is going to have an impact. Already in Northeast, the tribal students, when they appear for civil service exam, so in the civil service examination, you should go for English and 1 compulsory Indian language. For all students across India, when they take up this exam, for them, English, say from students of say Kerala, Malayalam, students of Bihar, Hindi, students of Tamil Nadu, Tamil, it's compulsory, you have to qualify. Whereas when it comes to the students in the Northeast, they don't, in tribal areas, say Nagaland, Mizoram, they don't have a script for the language, their own mother tongue. Then where you are going to go for a 3 language for these schools? They are writing it in English. And they don't have a paper. That paper is exempted for students from Northeast, and they become IAS officer, IPS officer, all officers without, just by 1 language. It is officially exempted till date. Are they not good officers? Extraordinary officers are there? So, what unnecessary, let us not stress our children and grandchildren by going for 3 languages. Let us concentrate, like the other $1 trillion economies, let us concentrate the mother tongue, which is crucial, and also English as a language, because today we are globally united, and even the so-called conservative Chinese, Japanese, they are all now throughout the school, they are learning English. Next. Even the document itself I was reading, it has come up with a nice line in order to oppose English. But I thought it is also equally applicable for other languages also. It has created an unnatural aspiration of parents for their children to concentrate on learning and speaking languages that are not their own. My question is, why a student from Bihar should be forced to read Tamil or Malayalam or Telugu for no reason? If in case for any official reason, if he is going to come to Tamil Nadu or Kerala, definitely he will learn language. Why during school to stress them? So this is the first issue area I wanted to highlight. Second, the state census examinations in grade 3, 5 and 8. So they are talking about a state census exam where they are going to, means third standard, grade 3, grade 5, grade 8. Now, it will be a board exam that they have mentioned clearly. Clearly written that they are going to check the core concepts knowledge. Next. In addition, this is in addition to the board exam in 10th and 12th standard. The document clearly talks about it. Now you see the pressure and stress for students and parents whenever there is an exam. Forget about board exam. Even this annual exam itself creates a lot of stress. See, whenever there is an exam, school exam, that to this quarterly, half-yearly exam, I honestly admit we don't have food at home because my wife will be stressed. We buy food from outside. We have to teach children. And she always complains, I teach only the IAS students, forgetting our own children. A small exam that to school level for 4th standard, my second son is 4th standard, so much stress. Now they want to bring the third standard itself a board exam, and third, fifth, eighth, and one more thing, 9th to 12th. It is going to be 2 exams, semester exam. 9th standard, 10th standard, 11th standard, 12th standard, 2 exams, and it is not going to be the school exam. It is clearly given that it is going to be a board exam. Each year of the secondary stage will be divided into 2 semesters for a total of 8 semesters. Next. Now, the commission itself, I was seeing an irony or something where they are telling to reduce stress, lessen the examination burden on students by replacing, so they want to reduce the stress, they want to reduce the exam burden, but how? What is the method they are going to do? By replacing in-class final exam with board exam. Now, I do not know how a board exam can reduce stress. That school exam itself gives a lot of stress. Then how a board exam can remove stress? And allowing students to take board exam in each subject at the end of the semester, in which they take that subject. The policy envisions shifting as soon as possible to a modular board exam approach, where board examinations are offered each semester in a range of subjects. So definitely they are introducing something, board exams, repeatedly right from the child, 3rd standard, 5th standard, 8th standard, 9th standard, 10th, 11th, 12th, all 2 semester. Many will say, no, it's not a typical board exam, but that is what they are saying clearly, board exam. And what is the use of this board exams? Are we going to get into medicine because of this so many board exams? Are those marks going to be accumulated? And based on this, they are going to give we can enter medicine or IITs, NIT or law? No. Or for that separate entrance exam, CLAT is there, AEEE is there, NEET is there. Then why so much stress on exams, which was no use? Without undergoing this, our rocket man, Mr. Sivan, couldn't have undergone, because he was from a government school in Kanyakumari. Without undergoing so many board exams, he could send to Chandrayaan. Send Chandrayaan. Why this is required for our next generation students? So much stress. And we all know, if you read the National Crime Record Bureau data, every 55 minutes, one student commits suicide. Is it required? Already for only 2, 10th standard, 12th standard only board exam. Approximately 10,000 students commit suicide because of stress. Exam related stress. Please next. Next. See, like if you read the Times of India report, according to statistics, over the past 3 years, more than 26,000 students have committed suicide across India. A majority of student suicides are caused by the psychiatric factors such as stress, depression and anxiety. It could result from difficulty in coping with academics, unrealistic expectations and pressure from parents, and lack of support from peers. It's very important to identify the illness at an early stage, whatever that psychiatrist is telling. So we are going to add stress to our children when, see, this new document talks about fun-based learning, all these things. But where is going to be the fun? Forget about, see, every teacher, if you are a teacher, you know, they will discriminate students based on who's performing, who's not performing. The performers may be hardly 5%. Performers in so-called academics, school, first 5 ranks. Remaining 95% children are going to be rejected. And not only students are judged. If you go to school, the parents are also judged based on students' performance. If your children are reading well, the school teachers will treat you, talk nicely. If your children are not reading, then the way they think about the pressure we are going to encounter next few years once this document is implemented. So we should not go just by something that exam is going to improve quality. This education is bringing them up as a good citizen. There are some late blooming flowers, early blooming flowers. I was not down a late bloomer. If in school or college, no one would have thought I would clear this Indian Administrative Service exam. In case if this exam would have been there at that point of time, this pattern of exams, definitely I would have been a 6th standard or 8th standard school dropout. Now, because late bloomers, there is a time to bloom. End of the day, the flower, whether it is a late blooming or early blooming, end of the day, it should give that fragrance for the society. Our children, every individual has a capacity. Why to start rejecting them at the school level itself? Because the friends will treat differently, teachers will teach differently. Already it is there. I am not telling it is not there now, but that is different. Moment the word board exam, it sends panic, stress to all parents and children, and all these board exam anyhow is not going to have any relevance for getting into medicine or engineering or law. Then why to have this? Next. The third issue I wanted to highlight is creating effective school infrastructure. Very good, nicely worded. Now the strategy will consist of building new educational facilities in underserved or unserved locations and consolidating existing standalone primary, upper primary, secondary, higher secondary schools. Oh, nice. It's nice. A school complex is going to be created. Something, a visionary document we can see. However, if you keep reading that, the current, now what is there in their mind, if you see, the document clearly says the current rigid norms for school access based solely on distance from habitation of residence will be made flexible. So what they are telling means existing schools, small schools which are there in some rural belts may be catering to some tribal areas but not having sufficient numbers. Now they may be closed because that is what we can interpret. No, we'll provide transportation, whatever. But clearly the document says the current rigid norms which is solely based on distance. So distance you should forego and go to that whatever new complex which they are going to do. Next. The small size of schools makes it economically suboptimal. Clearly they have clearly given economically suboptimal schools are going to be closed down. That's what the document says. So economically optimal, if you read the document, how much? Next. Next. Our structural situation, I have not created my own document, just I have taken it from the new policy. Our structural situation has led to 80% of elementary schools having 3 or fewer teachers. Such small schools exacerbate the phenomenon of isolation of teachers and impede their professional development. So, do they mean that they are going to close down these 85% schools? Then already there is the school dropouts are very, very high. In addition, if you are going to create these exams, frequent exams, where rejections will start coming from 3rd standard itself. After that, again school is also not going to be geography. Now parents also will think, anyhow to have breakfast and lunch you have to go that long, leave it. If it is nearby in the same village which is already there, at least at least go, at that time they will hear something, and education is not just ABCD or Kaka Gaga, it's a long process coming out as a good citizen, a good human. And it's a long journey. There, this and all is something worrisome. Next. Now this is the doctrine of colorability. Now before that, if you read, the defenders of this policy will clearly say, although consolidation of school is an option that is often discussed, any effort to do this must not impact educational access in rural areas. Means educational access should be there. The document itself says suboptimal will close, but it will give any educational access is there, then why to worry? But 85% you are closing, or say 20% you are closing, let it be 10% which is catering to the tribals, remote areas, you are going to close. Then educational access, how? Maybe providing a free bus pass, in that district, whatever the education complex. Definitely, I found it. See, there is a doctrine called colorable legislation. What is this doctrine of colorable legislation? Whatever you want to do, if it is unacceptable, you tell some sweeter words, hide it with the beautiful, colorful words, but what you will do the same thing. That is what it is. The idea when a legislature wants to do something that it cannot do within the constraints of the government's constitution, it colors the law with a substitute purpose, allowing it to accomplish its original goal. Original goal is suboptimal things should be closed down. Then definitely it will affect the education system which is existing. Means now it's time for us to give more education. Wherever possible, administration at the doorstep. School education at the doorstep. Now already we lack. Now if you are going to do this, the third thing, that is the third issue, that is closing down the existing one based on optimal, rather strengthen the existing schools. Rather strengthen. Why 3 teachers? Why not, instead of going for such a big thing, existing schools strengthen. Whatever you are planning to do, good things, please do it at the existing schools without closing down. Next. The last, even though many will think, why this vocational exposure and skills? Prima facie, it appeared very good, giving occasion to the children at the school level itself. Because one of the major problems in our country today is skill, lack of skill in our countrymen. We don't have that skill. So we have very good manpower, but skilled manpower is very less. Now, so what they are talking. So primarily I was also very happy, oh, skilling is coming. But when I was going through the document, some worries I got, which I wanted to share to you. The importance of what they are telling, the importance of the basic knowledge of various livelihoods and life skills. Life skill, what all they are talking? Gardening, pottery, woodwork, basically carpentry, electric work, electrician, and many others, maybe tailoring, whatever, will be taught at the foundational and elementary level. The foundation starts, we know that if you read the document, from the age of 3. So that time itself, okay, up to 3rd standard, you are going to teach them. Then survey course on vocational skills and crafts in grade 6, 7, 8. Once they come to 6th standard, 7th standard, 8th standard, the time of vocational courses is going to increase. Then vocational, if you see the policy 9th to 12th, the vocational strength, it is going to be more and more and more. So sounds nice. What is wrong in it? If after all someone gets the skill of carpentry, electrician or tailoring, nothing wrong. But I was thinking, because one of my cousin is a tailor. Okay, I am not from a big rich family. One of my cousin is a tailor. Another cousin is a carpenter. I am not bluffing, it's a fact. Now, if you talk to them, my cousin who is a tailor, he will ensure that his son doesn't go to the tailor shop. His biggest fear is he should never pick up that. So for a parent, for a tailor, his son or daughter, the last short choice should be tailoring. Whereas, if I am a son of a tailor, my first choice will be tailoring if I am in school. If I am a carpenter's son, as a father, my father will not allow. That will be the last. If I am a son, I will think, because that is the known thing for me. When in 6th standard, 7th standard, 8th standard, when I will be thirsty for recognition. When I am not able to perform in the so-called science and maths, because maybe I am a late blooming flower. It may take some time. But at that time, hungry for recognition from my colleagues, my co-students and my teachers, also an educational counselor, I will start nicely stitching. The teacher will also say, extraordinary stitching, good, I'll be. But my father's dream, gone, and end of the day, 9th to 12th, I am going to do tailoring. In case if it had not been there, maybe as a late blooming flower, I would have become an IAS officer. Or I would have become a doctor, engineer, maybe a late bloomer. Because my house was not conducive. But this skill, starting at this age, I am not against skilling, very, very important. At that age, whether it is required. especially third up to third standard. And see, 6, 7, 8, they are going to actually, if you read the document, they are going to, next you see there what it is written. It may offer a glimpse of future. Why they are doing this? It may offer a glimpse of future profession. For whom? For the tailor, electrician, and for others, it will at least help. Others means maybe whoever, doctors' children, engineers' children, for those children who are studying in that school, it will help them to teach and reinforce the dignity of the labor. I am not against tailoring, I am not against carpentry. But what I am seeing is, today they are all paid less. A tailor's children, my cousin, he wants to study, he is an engineer now, I am very happy. One other carpenter, his son is also doing very well, graduation. Now, if in case it has been there, natural liking will be there and for thirst of recognition, and maybe those late bloomers' aspirations could have been killed at that point of time. So, the same skilling can happen, whatever it is there now. If you see 11th standard, ITA starts. That strengthens those ITAs. How much good our ITAs are there today? How much good our polytechnics are there today? Strengthen that. At this age, the general skilling should happen. That 6th standard, 7th standard, 8th standard, 9th, the communication skill, English knowledge skill, the problem solving skill, mathematically, whatever they're good at. But don't teach them please these skills, because maybe then it may be lead to tailor's son will always be a tailor. Whatever our 1953, if you see, there was one much opposition for Rajaji's Kulakalli Thittam. Okay. Now, this in turn can lead to that if not managed properly. I am not telling it is, if not managed properly, if the teachers are not going to handle the children properly, then naturally it will going to happen like that. Next. See, there are going to be in this skilling, if you see, there are going to be counselors. What the counseling are going to do? Counseling on choice of subjects in secondary grade, including vocational subjects, and on choices in higher education, leading on potential career choice. So, this vocational subject will be a career choice for which naturally, if I am a counselor, I will always prefer, oh, you are doing stitching well, why can't you do it? You are doing nicely carpentry, that, but why can't you do that? You are not, why you have to take? So, this will lead to such thing which will be a disaster. Some aspirational people cannot come out, late bloomers will be finding it difficult. So, in my view, it can become another form of that Rajaji's Kulakalli Thittam of 1903, maybe in a modified format. We will not tell that, but end of the day, see, after all, finally we will blame, oh, it's a government school, so they did like that, what to do. So, we should not have another new education policy to address this, is my view. Next. So, before I conclude, I am also taking, I have taken everything from this new education policy only. See, they have started with the preamble itself, the new education policy committee. Education is not the amount of information that we put into our brain and run riots there, undigested all your life. We must have life building, man making, character making, assimilation of ideas. If you have assimilated what Vivekananda is telling, and that is what that document is also talking. If you have assimilated 5 ideas and made them your life and character, you will have more education than any man who has got by heart of whole library. If education is identical with information, the life, in case if information is what is, because the more and more information based, if you are going to change, then because of this new education policy, if education is identical with information, the libraries will be the greatest sages of the world and encyclopedia will be the greatest issues, which is not true. Next. So before I conclude, I want to quote this noble man, one of the best presidents India ever had. Some of the brightest minds in the country can be found on the last benches of the classroom. So let us identify that rather than now putting them on exam. See, it takes a long process. In case if I was there, I wouldn't have been talking before you if the same system was there. I wanted to be a doctor because middle class, typical middle class upbringing. My parents wanted to be a doctor, so I also dreamt to wear that white coat. But my 12th standard math, 10th was also not great. 12th I was not school topper, nowhere near medical college. My marks were. So my mother started crying, but my father came, very positive man. He told, hey, don't worry. That is not everything. You can do something good. You can become an IAS officer. Now that is the hope. The system should give hope. Late bloomers will bloom later. And so don't pressurize these children with so many exams, 3 languages, so to become a $1 trillion economy, because none of the $1 trillion economies are having such a 3-language formula, or even this exam pattern. The number 1 economy in the world today, USA, that already is having $20 trillion. We want to become $10 trillion in 2032 already. When they are starting the exam, they are after 9th standard only. Whereas 3rd standard itself, to catch them, you want to do it. It's a totally, I feel these things, if implemented, will definitely have an impact. So I, as a parent of 2 children and also as a citizen, I was worried about these 4 areas. I hope it would have also reached you, and I thank for giving me an opportunity.